Holy moly. Hey, good morning, friends. I'm Katie with For the Love of Leftovers, and I am a large family mom to some special needs kiddos, both like educationally, mentally, and physically, where I have some kids that have, or I have one kid that has severe food allergies. So today I am putting us up to the task of making bread for the month. So taking one day and making a whole bunch of bread. One of our vans got a flat tire yesterday, so my husband had to take the other one. So we are all at home for the day. I don't have anything pressing due today, but work has been shifting and changing. So I need to take the time that I have to bulk us up on some staples that our family needs. As much as I love the idea and concept of being like a gluten-free house, just because I don't personally believe that it's the best for you. I do have flour that I could mill myself, but again, I have not perfected that recipe just yet. So I need to do what makes sense for my family and make those staples. That's going to take a little bit of the load off of me and know that it's safe for all of my family members. My husband tried the other day to take something off of my mental plate and purchase bread from our local convenience store because we really didn't have anything for breakfast items, and it was, the penny stretching as we're trying to do is definitely causing some behaviors. My kids are not exactly used to that. Anyhow, so he went and purchased a couple loaves of bread and was like, oh, it took something off of your mental plate. But then I looked at them and I said, our baby can't have this. The youngest can't have this. It's got milk. He's like, oh, that's the only bread that our local convenience store carries, so that was the only option. It still worked for 5 of our other kids. It's just our youngest couldn't have it. I had made pancakes, so it's fine. But exactly why we need to make big batch bread, and I think maybe we'll get in the habit of just doing this once a month. So let's dive into it. And not ragging on my husband at all, because I've done it too. I've purchased things just assuming that they would be safe, assuming that like most bread doesn't have milk in it, and come to find out, oh yeah, okay, I guess it is really common. And that's real life when you have a kid that has severe allergies, or you yourself have severe allergies, that you have to stop making assumptions. And it's pretty draining. It really can be pretty draining. But we also believe that we've been called by the Lord to check the way that we're eating, check the way that we're feeding our kids and things like that. And we've been feeling that for years. And kind of having one of our children, our youngest child, have severe food allergies really just drove that home for us. Like, okay, maybe this is the reason why we're being called to live a certain way. And even me on my health quest and trying to actually take care of myself for the first time in 12 years, as a mom of 6 and my oldest being 12, it's time that I actually can start taking care of myself. And so all those things to say, we are trying to make improvements, and it might be slow steps at first, but growth is still growth, even if it's just baby steps. So I needed to start by getting this kitchen completely tidied up, because I knew I was going to make a little bit of a mess with big batch baking, and of course want to not have any cross contamination. So making bread without milk and eggs is actually really simple. Making essentially a vegan bread is what we're doing, and I do have a great recipe for that. So we can make a whole bunch of them, cook them all at once today. All of my kids are home, so my older ones can stay up here because our oven up here isn't working, and they can stay up here with the littles as I'm going back and forth baking loaves of bread. So first thing we need to do is I need to see how many of these bags I have. These are all bags that I have been collecting or saving from bags of bread that we've bought over the past month or so. And like I've got one here that's bagels. So I'm gonna sort these out, see how many I can fit into each one. That way I know how many loaves of bread I can make. And my loaves of bread freeze really well, they thaw really well, so we're gonna make a whole bunch of bread and package it and put it in the freezer. So this one, for example, can hold 2, whereas this one can hold 1. So I'm just going to sort through and tidy them up a little bit, see how many we have and how many loaves of bread I can make. Okay, don't mind the dishwasher in the background. It did not get run last night, so I'm a little bit behind in that. But anyhow, I have bags enough for 12 loaves of bread to go into the freezer, and then we usually have 2 on tap. So that means 14 loaves of bread is what's on the docket for today. So I'm gonna find a couple of large bowls, because what I like to do is I start making all of the dough and then I put them into bowls together to proof, and then I just kind of like weigh them out, or let's be real, most of the time I don't weigh them, I just eyeball them, split the loaves up, and then put them into their bread pans once they're ready. And so I'm starting by getting together my mise en place, which just means like everything in its place. You get together your ingredients, get together your, utensils. So in my case, liquid measuring cups and teaspoon, tablespoon, and I have everything just right there, right at arm's reach, and I put it in an order that makes sense to my brain for how I flow through making each batch. All right, I've got just about everything out now. This is our recipe right here. These are the ingredients that we're going to need. I'm going to show you them over here as well, but just so you can screenshot that and kind of follow along. Of course, I'll have it written down in the description as well. But let's show you all of our dairy-free, egg-free ingredients that we're working with. So I've got flour, and it's in this big bucket right beside me. Probably use most of that today, actually, because each loaf is going to take about 4 cups of flour. It's going to depend on the atmosphere. Baking it's weird. It's a science, but it's not an exact science. But it's not as lenient as cooking is either. It's a whole thing. We're going to need water, and we're just going to pull water from the tap. We've got yeast. You need some sort of sugar, so I'm going to be using honey today. You need salt. We need a milk of some sort. I'm using oat milk because that's what we like to use. We're going to need butter. I'm going to reserve the butter for putting on at the end. I find that it gives it a really nice additional taste, like a buttery taste, but we're using vegan butter since we're doing this dairy-free. This is my butter of choice right here. I have tried multiple vegan butters, and this is the one that hands down works for everything. I love it. Absolutely love it. Hashtag non-spons, but Country Crock, if you would like to sponsor me, I would be game. Okay? Someone let them know. And then we're also going to use avocado oil. You could use more butter. This is just all the butter that I have right now. So we're using that. And you could use, you could use butter, you could use olive oil, whatever oil you have. I would stay away from vegetable oil, but if you have nut allergies, can't do avocado oil, do butter, do whatever, okay? It's the fat. This is the fat content that we need, okay? So, and I've got some sourdough starter. So, I am actually going to mix up a whole bunch of this. I'm going to get a couple loaves going, and this has been in my fridge for quite a while. You will see it's gray on top. Totally fine, still fine to use, so I'm just going to mix it up. I'm going to increase that, and then I'm going to be adding it to our breads, not using it in place of yeast. I'm just trying to get that bacteria to grow in there and just add a little bit of gut health to our everyday sandwich bread. Got half a cup of water. Alright, we've got half a cup of water, tablespoon of yeast, a couple squirts of honey. That sugar is going to help feed the yeast. I love this recipe too because it is really just a throw and go style recipe. Like, if you want to let the yeast bloom, great, go for it. If you don't want to, great, don't go for it. So we're using the instant active yeast. So, all right, now need a 1/4 cup of oil. We'll need 1 cup of oat milk. Think how many bread loaves we get done today. It's probably going to end up being dependent upon the oat milk, because I do not know that I have enough for 14 loaves. Okay, now we're going to add in 4 cups of flour. We'll see how this batch goes, and then adjust the other ones accordingly. Alright. And I could not have found a smaller piece of my countertop to do this on. Oh. Okay, so see how this is very shaggy? That's telling me that because it's not coming together very easily, that was too much flour. So I think we're going to be doing probably 3.5 cups. In following recipes, I'm just going to add a little bit of water there just to help it come together. It's not the same every time you make it. It's just part of baking. A splash more. That should be good. So we want it to clean up the bowl. As you can see in here, the bowl is looking clean. I mean, not right now, because now it's a little wet and sticky, but as it gets kneading, it's reaching the cleanup stage, which is the bowl looks clean. And then we knead it for an additional, I only do like 5 to 10 minutes maybe, in order to get the gluten developing. And we're starting this at 9 a.m. So let's see how long it takes us to get all of these things together. I am just spraying the inside of this bowl, clean bowl, with a non-stick spray of your choice. I'm using sprayable avocado oil. This is what we're going to put all of our dough into and let it rise. So really you only want this to be about half full. We'll see how many we can get in there. And here we go. I'm just going to start the timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to let our bread knead for 5 minutes before we transfer it to this bowl. Alright, take a look at this. See how clean the bowl is? And this bread is stretchy and soft. So I'm going to knead this real quick on the counter and get it into the bowl. Now, this could absolutely knead for another 5 minutes or so, just to get that gluten developing even more. It wouldn't hurt it, but I am okay with how it's looking right now. And that was on medium speed beating for 5 minutes. Honestly, it's probably longer than I typically do, just because I'm usually in a rush, and today seems to be no different. But take a look at this. Nice and soft, looks like Play-Doh. Press into it and it slightly bounces back. Okay, there's still clearly an indent, so that tells you it could be kneaded a bit more, but instead we're one and done. Okay, now to repeat the process 13 more times. And so here I'm just showing you how quickly this comes together. So once I have everything lined up in a way that makes sense to my brain, I get like all the liquid measuring cups in a row. I have everything just right there, quickly and easily to grab, and as it's coming together in the mixer, I'm prepping the next one. So I'm measuring out the olive oil, measuring out the milk and water. That way, every time I'm able to, it's just a real quick dump and go. I don't even have to think about it. It just gets to be autopilot. So I can whip up a whole bunch of these breads really quickly. And at one point I did have 2 stand mixers, so I could have 2 of them going at once and get it done even more quickly. But that one fried out. This one is having trouble. It keeps losing screws and whatnot on me. This was actually my backup stand mixer and now has become my primary stand mixer. I would love to get like one of those big Hobart ones, but it's just I don't think in the cards at this point in life. But at some point, I'm sure, you know, my family is only gonna get bigger once these kids start having kids of their own and things like that. Who did it? Was it Hunter?
No, it was Sissy.
Sissy. Oh my goodness. And so I did get mixing up that sourdough and having conversations with the kids, doing the parenting, doing all the things at once, right? Parenting never stops, doesn't matter what you're doing or what you're not doing, trying to relax, trying to cook things, whatever. There's always those conversations to be had. So off camera, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm moving slowly and having those conversations with my kids. And I'm getting the sourdough prepared. I wanted to increase it because I do hope to make more actual sourdough. Like I'd like to do some actual sourdough bread. So I was getting this all mixed up. I knew it needed to be hydrated quite a bit, but you can see how loose it is. Really, when you get a discard together, I wasn't even weighing anything. I know by the texture. You want it to look like a pancake batter, and pancake batter should actually be pretty thick, which is probably where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to doing things like sourdough starter by eye, because a lot of people think that pancake batter should actually be very liquidy like that. But you know, I'm a pastry chef, so I do know that real pancake batter, like good pancake batter, should actually be kind of lumpy and a bit on the thicker side, much like you see here. On this one, I'm going to pour in 1/2 cup of sourdough starter right into the liquid. And on this one, I will also add the 4 cups of flour because that starter is going to keep it nice and moist. Everything else is going to remain the same. Alright, this is that bread that has the sourdough in it. It's looking pretty good. 1/2 cup sourdough, 4 cups of flour, cleaning up nicely. We're going to increase the speed for 5 minutes. Okay, hopefully you can hear me over the stand mixer. I've got 4 loaves in here so far. Got 5th in the stand mixer. I need to make 2 more. I have 7 loaf pans here. So I think we're going to do 7 at a time. I should be able to cook 7 in my oven at a time. I might have a cast iron bread pan, so I might be able to do 8. But 7 would be a nice number because our goal is 14, right? So I think we'll do half at a time. Once those all bake, once those are in the oven baking, then I could start on the next batch of 7. That way I don't risk things overproofing, because that could be a real problem. Well, I told you guys, these things aren't made for the batches that we're doing, but I don't have, you know, a big batch stand mixer, though I wish I did. They're crazy expensive. Anyhow, the screw just came flying out at me, so we're gonna get this fixed and then keep going. All right, I've got the last of 7 going right here. Just finished up, so I'm going to give the stand mixer a break. Clearly these KitchenAids are not meant for, don't mind the phone, for big batch baking. It's 10:15 now, so we've gotten 7 loaves of bread done. Well, not done, but you know, the dough for it made in the past hour. So that's pretty good. Don't mind the dogs barking either. You come to my house, it's going to be loud, whether it's dogs or cooking machinery or kids. We are not a quiet household, so just get used to that, I guess. Here's an example of one that has been kneading for 5 minutes, and this one has the sourdough in it. Look how it springs back. Much better than our first 2 that didn't have sourdough discard in it, so that's cool. And let me show you the bowl we're working with. All right, see how much is in here, and we've already had quite a few expand. Okay, and I'm just gonna put a little more oil on it. And I did kind of like layer it, like do the oil in layers, so I put 4 down, sprayed some oil on. Now I'm putting these others on, and I have this plastic wrap here that has also been sprayed with oil, so that as they expand, as they proof, we will not have a sticky situation, because if these were not oiled, they would end up sticking and they just can get kind of messed up. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit. These are gonna proof, and I'm pretty much gonna wait until this is full. So this whole bowl will like rise and be full, and then I'll start separating them and putting them into our greased loaf pans. And that's when I'll start the oven too. And I did manage to put some sourdough discard or sourdough away. So we've got 1.5 cups in here, fresh stuff, cleaned the bowl, cleaned the lid, cleaned everything, put it back into the fridge to join us another day when I actually am going to make legit sourdough stuff. This is as much as we have left. Probably good for the other 7 loaves that we're going to do. So I think that's good. So I'm gonna put a few things back in the fridge, like the oat milk. I'm gonna put that back in the fridge. Maybe cover up this discard. And around probably lunchtime, we'll get rocking with the next batch of 7, which we can easily plan. Takes an hour. So check out our big bowl of dough. I'm gonna start putting it into the loaf pans. So it's all gonna kind of be sticking to each other which is fine. They pretty decently come out though. Ooh, this is super soft. Because these have sourdough in them, they are very, very soft. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of roll it a bit, pinch it, and then tuck it into a pan. Some of these are more proofed than others, and that's okay. Ooh, look at those bubbles. Bubbles, bubbles, my bubbles. This dough clearly has not sat as long as the other ones have. So I'm going to put it into one of our smaller loaf tins. Look at that. That gluten is developed. It's so relaxed. Just making, this is going to make for just such a beautiful, beautiful loaf. I know it. Okay, and I'm just kind of like squeezing it just so I can get it a little bit longer. Really only because I don't have counter space right now to be forming and shaping it as I roll it. So I'm just kind of doing it in my hands, tucking and pinching the seams underneath. Okay. I have a whole bunch of loaf pans right here on a tray just so I can bring them all down in one go. I've got the oven heating down there. Deflate a couple of these in the bowl. Yes, it's going to take some eyeballing. Like, I think that was a little much. That was a couple. So, it's okay. It's okay. These are all going to bake up beautifully. They're all going to get eaten. They don't have to look and weigh exactly the same. We're just going to wait for them to get nice and golden brown. Some of these might even end up in the oven before the other ones, just based on how they proof while they're in the bread pans here. So you can do everything at the same time, same recipes. Sometimes, yeah, it just, you can't help it. Things are just gonna, bread is gonna do what it wants. We're going to add a little bit more dough to this one. And we're just kind of like rolling it up. Squeezing it, rolling it up, kneading it right in the bowl. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to take these oiled up, see if I can, yeah, all right. These oiled up pieces of plastic, and we're just going to put them back over the loaves so that they can proof. Situate it as best we can. I'm going to need one more piece for these two. Right close to each other, that way I just need the one piece of plastic for the two of them. Okay, so now I've got 7 loaves, just waiting to proof. Oven is going. Will be 7 doughs richer in just a moment. Okay, so I've got those 7 loaves proofing over there. That's not going to take any time at all, and to bake them, it'll be about 40 minutes, hour-ish by the time I cycle all through them, or through them all. So I'm actually going to start getting going on the next batch. It's 10:53 right now. So far we've been at this 2 hours and had some child interruptions. So, you know, not a straight 2 hours. But I hear another child interruption happening right now. So I'm going to address that, and then we're going to get cooking again. Okay, we are rocking and rolling on the next batch. I have to go downstairs and get some more flour. So this is a perfect time to take these beauties down. Keep in mind that they will rise more as they're in the oven baking. So some of these that look a little smaller, they're going to rise more, but I have enough of them that are getting big enough. This one may have been the first one that I made, so I need to get these rolling in the oven so that we don't overproof them. Whoa! Ooh, can we do it? Can we get all of them in? Okay, so we may have to turn some of those. That is definitely chock full. I maybe could have gotten one more in there. I don't think so. So, good to know that I think 7 is our number. 7's the max that I can handle, and like I said, because of the placement, some of them are lower. This is a gas stove, so it does have some hot and cold spots. Halfway through, I may need to rotate. It may behoove me to rotate them, especially the one, I have one like in the back corner on its side. So like none of it is facing front, do you know what I mean? So, and it's on the bottom rack. So especially those ones might need to get rotated. So I'm going to set the timer down here for 40 minutes, and I'm going to set my phone timer or the microwave timer for, no, my phone timer for 20 minutes so that I can come check on them and possibly rotate them. But we have the oven set at 350. I'm second guessing myself though. I think it might need to be set to 400. I gotta go check. All right, let's check these breads. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, listen, we will have bread. That's for sure. Oh, bummer, those ones are touching. That one down there, did not expect that. Okay, so Okay, so note to self, that sourdough discard that we added in was hungry, and I think a mix of that and the amount of yeast and the honey that's in there, it's just all like feeding and going crazy. So this next batch, I just got done with number 4, and I'm out of milk and out of something else. So I think I'm gonna quit at this 4th one that I have in the stand mixer, let it proof, let these come out, and then I'm gonna split the dough and let's see if we can get some more manageable sizes of bread loaves. I think maybe what I'll plan is for that like super big one that was in the bottom left. Clearly there's a hot spot there in the oven, but I think maybe on that one I will do batch French toast with. That way I can cut it up because it's not going to fit into a bag as it is. And so now it's time to get cleaned up for lunch. To save on dishes, what I do is I just salt and pepper the meat while it's right in the package that it came in, and then I put it seasoned side down in the skillet and then just season the other side while it's in the skillet. And so when dealing with cast iron, you want to look for the oil to be dancing and for you to be able to actually feel the heat coming off of the skillet as you hover your hand. Okay, well that's cooking on the stovetop upstairs. It'll take me just a couple minutes to run down here and pull the bread out of the oven because I am 99% sure it's time to do that. I forgot to set myself a timer, but I can, oh yeah, smell the bread. It's looking golden brown. Fantastic. All right. I'm going to just pull these out. I'm sure those bottom ones are done just because I'm sure the bottom of the actual bread is, oh yeah. Yeah, that might be a little bit overdone. That one in the back, I didn't get to flip it. It's okay. It is what it is. This one cracks me up. Ooh, a little scorched on the side there. Okay. Okay, lots of things could have gone wrong in this batch. Since these are overdone, I'm going to move quickly to get them out of their bread pans and onto a cooling rack so that they're not cooking more. Oh, why is that sticking? No. Stop sticking. Okay. Are any of you ready to come out? Come on, who wants to come out? There we go. Woo! Oh, she's a little top heavy. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Maybe I'm just gonna let them sit a couple minutes. Ooh, yeah, I don't wanna. Okay, here we go. Opening number 2. Well, those ones at least don't look burned. How about you? You want to come out yet? Oh boy. I don't want that steak to burn upstairs. We really need to get our ovens fixed, but alright, I guess I'm gonna let them cool. We'll let the rest of them cool. That way I'm not pulling off the tops, but look at these beasts. Oh my goodness. Our next ones will be smaller. Okay, they really should cool in their pans for about 5-10 minutes. That will help them to actually kind of shrink back and loosen up from the bread pans, making it easier to get them out. I was just concerned that they were way overcooked, and so I wanted to get them out. But they're not. We're good, I guess. Let's see if I can finish lunch real quick and then get back down there and get those out. Perfect. You need a zucchini bat?
Yeah,
Okay. Don't actually hit people with it. Don't break it. Okay. Yeah, right. So a little bit of a backstory. We have these squash and zucchini from my mom that she grew in her garden. And she had a couple of the zucchini labeled as self-defense in her farm stand. And so that's what we have. Plus a couple of really big squash as well. And the kids thought they were hilarious. So they were chasing each other around the backyard with them as bats. And they all did come back to me. And they all came back to me in one piece. So, you know, just childhood fun. Alright, and here is a quick look at lunch. I've got steak, a little bit of tortellini, and a whole bunch of zucchini. Okay, so just wanted to show you, even though we've got a little bit of a burn mark there, look how tender it is. We've got a nice crumb texture there. It's very spongy. Happy with it. Okay, so this time I split the dough in half. So I got 8. I ended up making 4 dough balls, separating them. I found my cast iron pan. So I've got 4 here, and then I've got 4 over on the stove top. That heat from the oven is just rising and helping it proof. I'm going to cook those 4 at once, and then going to, when those are in the oven, I'm going to put these ones on top over there so that heat will help these ones proof, and do 4 at a time that way. And so I'm hoping that because I split them in half, I'm going to let these all rise just enough to kind of fill out the pans. So you can see this one has space. I'm going to try and let these kind of fill out the pans a bit and then pop them in, because these rose substantially. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that I need time-wise if I choose to do this again this way. So I'm going to let these fill out. Once they've filled out the pan, then I'll put them in, and ideally they'll rise a bit bigger than the tops of the pans. Here's hoping. Listen, I mean, even if all of our bread came out like this, none of it is getting wasted. We've already gone through half a loaf just through lunchtime. So, like, you know, my kids love homemade bread. They love fresh bread. So that first loaf is going to go quickly. We know that. Ideally, though, we go through about 2 loaves of bread a week. So, in theory, I have enough bread here to last us 2 months. Will it actually last that long? Probably not. But the sooner I can get things cooled and get them into freezers, packaged up and into freezers, then it's less likely that we will plow through it as we do with the first one. Okay, these ones came out much better. Much more realistic in size, I guess. Not that they came out any better or worse, but these are more like your typical sandwich loaf breads compared to these monsters. Alright, it turns out I did have some stick of butters down here. So we are going to, I didn't get to do this with the big ones, but with the small ones, since they're still in the loaf pans and they're still hot, I'm going to take this time to just melt butter all over the top. Helps them to be a little more tender, a little softer, plus gives it a little bit of that salty, buttery taste. Okay, so I got distracted. Tis life, right? Like, tis the norm. How many times can I say tis? Anyhow, I'll show you. They got a little on the crispy side. So they're a little more brown than they should be. I have no idea how long the alarm was going off for. Not the alarm, but like, you know, the alarm on the stove. Not the smoke alarm, but just, yeah. So they're definitely a bit more tan than their counterparts. They might end up being a little more crispy, but it is what it is. And at the end of the day, look at all this bread that we got done. And it's about 3 o'clock now. So we started at 9 this morning. I definitely have not been like on top of things. So it's not as if I've been in the kitchen. Well, I have been in the kitchen for most of the day anyhow, but it's not like because of this bread that I've been in the kitchen at the stove all day. There's been plenty of time that I've had to do other things. It's just because my stove or my oven that I'm using isn't upstairs, and I was upstairs and outside. It was like out of sight, out of mind for me. So that's why we've run into this trouble that we have. Otherwise, it would have been fine. Probably could have shaved off another hour or so. But yeah, I mean, we've got 15 loaves, and looking at those first loaves that came out, that first 7, Those probably could have been split in half like these ones were. So we could have gotten an extra 7. We could have been looking at about 21-ish loaves of bread. 21, 22 loaves of bread. So that's encouraging. That's good to know for the next time I do it, because usually, like I said earlier, usually I don't add sourdough discard in there. So this was definitely kind of a first for me to see, for one, how active my starter is. Like, good for you, starter. We're happy for you. Show up, put out. So, we'll see. Now I know. Now I know. You don't know things unless you try things. You don't get better unless you keep trying. And so all of this to say, this is one of my favorite ways of meal planning. For me, my brain does best to do something in bulk and cross it off. So now I don't have to think every week, oh, I gotta get bread. Oh, I gotta get bread. I gotta buy more bread. Same with when I'm doing the once a month grocery shopping from Costco. Buying milk in bulk is super helpful for me. Now that we are out of milk and we don't really have a grocery budget for this month, it's kind of a pain in the butt because I've had to go to the store once or twice to get either the baby milk or to get milk for the other kids, just as we, scrounge about for cash or whatever. And that's pretty annoying. But even if I did something 5 days a week, if I chose one thing, I'm going to call this the once a month meal planning system. And this is going to be part of my course that I have coming out. I do have a free webinar going over 3 other ideas for meal planning systems. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for that because, like I said, it's free and you get a whole bunch of goodies and some ideas. But this system, if I could do one thing, even 3 days a week, and I'm batch making items that I need. So today we did bread. Tomorrow I could do pancakes. The next day I could do a ton of rice. The next day I could do even fried rice. I could cook fried rice in big batches. I could cook chicken. We have that coming up. Even if we didn't cook it to can, which is my plan, is to cook the whole chicken, can it, can the broth. Even if we didn't, even if I just cooked that chicken, shredded it and froze it like that, and did that all in one day, that would be amazing. That would be a huge help because then I know for the month or for a few months, I've got chicken in the freezer that I can pull from. So I'm liking this and how this still kind of leans into that ingredient household because that's just kind of naturally the cook that I am. I want to be able to grab things that I need and throw something together pretty much all the time. That just works best for us, and especially where we have so many differing needs nutritionally and texturally here. It works better for us to have those ingredients that I can then pull from. So that way I'm not making a huge casserole that has cheese on it because I've got one that can't have cheese. I've got one that doesn't like cheese. You know what I mean? So I like this idea of once a month meal planning, but the ingredients. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. This did not take all day. My back is not hurting more than usual. We actually have to leave soon because I've got to take some kids to gymnastics. I still have energy for that. I still have energy to work out this evening. So I feel like this system for the season that we're in right now is probably the one that I'm going to lean into. And every day or every other day maybe, I'm choosing something and making a month or 2 months worth of it. So let me know what you think about that. Does that excite you, or does that make you feel like, whoa, this is prolonged type of a deal? I'd be interested to know. All right, I will see you tomorrow. I do have a couple chickens thawing, so I believe we're going to be cooking some chicken tomorrow. Haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to do all the chicken. I could set up my slow cookers tonight and be ready for it in the morning. So we'll see about that. Either way, we have bread for tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.